AI in commerce is moving beyond basic automation, static dashboards, and simple recommendations. We're seeing the shift is more towards AI systems that can interpret large volumes of changing commerce data, connect signals across the digital shelf, and help teams make faster, more confident decisions. So to unpack what that means from a technology perspective, I'm joined by Sanjay today, the Chief Technology Officer at eclerx. And Sanjay leads our technology strategy and works closely with our teams on how AI, automation, and data intelligence are being applied across our products, including Market 360. Sanjay, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Adam, for having me on this.
Great. Okay, so I just have 3 questions for you today. The first question is, from your perspective, how has AI technology evolved from basic automation to more agentic decision-supporting systems? And why is that shift important for digital commerce?
I think, the change that happened, specifically with generative AI coming, in the forefront, that was late 2022. Has kind of shifted the story away from from basic automation. If I look back somewhere around 2015, 2016, the flavor of the day at that time used to be RPA. That was deterministic automation. You have a source, you have a target, you pick something from the source, and you populate something at the target. And the key thing of that was it was supposed to be non-invasive. You are not touching your backend system. You're just kind of skimming on the surface. With AI now, you're looking at the entire length and breadth. You're looking at data, you're looking at processes, you're looking at outcomes, you're looking at decision-making, insights, everything. You're looking at what is called in today's parlance harness engineering, which is a combination of everything right from foundation models to context engineering, to orchestration platforms, and to data and decisions. So that's a marked shift from traditional automation. And that has an impact across the board on all fields. And digital commerce is the right place to get disrupted. So there's no reason things won't change on the digital commerce side.
Got it. What makes commerce data especially complex from a technology perspective, particularly across product content, pricing, search visibility, and competitor activity?
No, I think, Adam, you kind of laid down the response for this yourself. I think in the B2B or the B2C world, the data sits across various silos. You have product data sitting within the organization, right? That needs to be cleansed, enriched, and pushed out onto the B2B or B2C platform. Then you have the same data sitting on competitor platforms. If I'm Adidas, I'm trying to sell a shoe. That shoe is going to be on Adidas website. That shoe is going to be on a marketplace which sells Adidas shoes. That's also going to be on a competitor, marker where they would be tracking, how that shoe is performing. So there are general marketplaces where the data would be moving. There would be internal data this thing. So making sure the content and the product data remains coherent across all these platforms, makes it much more critical for us. And then it's not just the data, it is product availability, which is a huge part of the entire puzzle. You have social media, responses, reviews, search performances. So there is a bunch of internal and external data / information which is relevant for digital commerce. Hence, making sure, you can extract the right information out and, make sure that the data that flows across these various silos is consistent and coherent, makes it an easy place for, putting everything that you have from an AI perspective.
That's great. And my final question to you today is, how does Market 360 use AI technology to connect and interpret these commerce signals so brands can move from fragmented data to trusted intelligence and faster action?
So Adam, as you know, Market 360 is our digital shelf platform. It's used by Fortune 50 organizations across the world. in retail, e-tail, B2B, MRO. And we work with all the large organizations in the world, primarily from a number of different action items. One is helping them harvest data across various data sources. Could be internal, could be external, third-party marketplaces from where we get the data. Benchmarking of their data vis-a-vis the competitor data. So that helps them provide insights on pricing analytics, availability and other things. Then everything around content compliance. If I'm, going back to the example of let's say Adidas or any of the B2B clients that we have, if I'm putting a model of a shoe on the website, making sure that the content is accurate, making sure that the content is compliant with the guidelines of the corporate, and making sure that the content is seamless across. So making sure you have full content compliance and run an audit on top of that. That's another place where Market 360 comes into play. And obviously all this kind of helps flows back into availability, product availability, inventory, and wherever there is a chance to push this data back into an internal client systems, that helps them drive a lot of decision making on product pricing and product availability. So Market 360 has been our flagship digital shelf product, and with AI coming in, we kind of scaled it a level above. From an AI perspective, AI has been infused into the tool right from data ingestion, data cleansing, harvesting. So, all those processes, have been made AI ready. Then the entire insights that we run on the products on the digital shelf, that's all being driven by AI. And then the downstream action that happened within the client systems is a perfect example for Agentic AI. So I think we've embraced AI, Agentic AI through the entire life cycle of Market 360.
That's great. Thanks, Sanjay, for sharing your insights today. Much appreciated. From my perspective, the key takeaway seems to be is that digital shelf performance is no longer about tracking isolated metrics in separate dashboards, right? It's commerce teams are now dealing with a constantly changing environment where things like visibility, content, pricing, reviews, promotion, etc., all that activity influence performance at the same time. So to me, the big takeaway from this discussion is that AI is becoming most powerful when it helps teams connect those dots, right? Not just showing what's changed from a reporting perspective, but helping explain why it matters and where to act next.
Absolutely.
And to me, this is where, and you just explained it too, this is where Market 360 comes in, right? It brings digital shelf intelligence together so brands can move from fragmented data to trusted insights. And from those insights, you can make the best actions in a quick way. Once again, I'd like to thank you, Sanjay, for joining us, and thank the audience for watching this episode. See you next time.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.